So welcome back to the course on Articulate Storyline 360, and today we speak of a very important animation concept within Articulate, and that is zoom region. So this is a very important concept in terms of building on product awareness. I see its application of being multiple in nature, but definitely I see it being used widely for product awareness, and I can think you can make some fabulous user engagement driven modules using this zoom regions. So let's kind of look at what I am trying to imply here. So if you have something like a product, here it's a gas turbine engine. A normal dry slide would be like just showing the diagram and just listing the different parts and listing what they do. But another interesting way of showing the same thing or displaying the same information can be like zoom in the certain product part and then explaining what the part does. So if that's sounding complicated, let's preview and let's look at what this feature helps us achieve. So I am trying to just preview the slide. You'll see first the product image appears per se. Then we zoom in to the compressor portion showing what the compressor does. If I absorb this, I can click on continue. Takes me to the next zoom in portion, combustion. Explains what combustion does. I can continue. Takes me to the next portion, that's the turbine portion, explaining to me what the turbine does and also displaying the turbine portion of the product. Well, this kind of panning in and zooming using the zoom region effect can be very, very effective in conveying information to the user. It's a wonderful user experience. So I can close the preview and I can just walk you through the steps on how to create a zoom region, and it's something that may take some time. So I would advise you to take up some product and try practicing what we will learn in this tutorial. So here we have a gas turbine engine. I will simply create two zoom regions so that I can zoom in the compression portion and then the combustion portion. So like any other animation thing, we have to insert the animation here, and what we can do is we insert a zoom region. So what do we want to zoom? We want to zoom in the compression thing, right? So when we select the zoom, the entire image gets zoomed in. The selection is for the whole image. You want to drag the boundaries so that you come to the target area. So for me, it happens to be compression. I want to just take it a little more outside because I want to have some leverage for inserting a text box. Now inside the text box, I would want to write something like this. This is what happens here, another thing. Now note that this thing will get zoomed in. So even a small text like 7 would be like apt. So don't worry if it looks very small here. Don't worry about that. When it zooms in, it actually becomes pretty big. So just drag it a little to the left and I will insert say another button, and this button will be say continue button. Just want to make sure that this is somewhere else other than like the text box continue. Okay, now very important for us to realize is that I don't want the zoom effect to immediately start as soon as the image loads on the screen. I want to start after a period of say 2 seconds, and typically what I advise as a strategy is to keep it for a period of 6 seconds. But depending on the concept that you are showing on the slide, it may take a little more time, so you can take your own time, but keep a minimum of 6 seconds at least. Then another very important thing is the text box timeline. So you don't want the text box to appear right from the start. You want the text box to appear only when the zoom area is in focus. So it has to be the same timeline as the zoom region. So I will just drag it and merge it with the zoom aspect. Likewise, even the continue button. So typically what happens is there are certain fast learners and they don't want to be for the whole zoom length. So just go to the end until you see the double-sided arrow and drag this until you merge this with the zoom region. So well, so far so good. And typically our first zoom is created. The first zoom is for the zoom compressor. It's created. Now I will just rename the continue button continue 1. So this is the text box. So text box text compressor. So just rename your objects. It's good naming convention, and it also helps you kind of know your workflow better. So well, we wanted to create two zoom regions, and you have seen how important it is to like understand the timeline sequence and every other thing. So another strategy I will advise you is to keep the second zoom at least a period of 4 seconds after the first zoom. And I will explain to you why I say this. Because when the user clicks on continue, we don't want him to directly land in the second zoom. We want them to land somewhere in between. So if you have a 4-second interval, you can make them land 2 seconds after the first thing ends. So let me do one thing. Let me go ahead and enter another zoom so as to make the concept clear. Now you will see as you enter the second zoom, what happens is it comes in the same zoom timeline. Another zoom box has come. So you can simply drag this and you can take it like after a period of 4 seconds and for a period of 6 seconds here. So this is the zoom 2, and like I said, this will have its own independent like text box, continue buttons, but you will see again the whole picture gets zoomed. So this is the zoom 2. So now what you want to do is you want to take it only for the combustion thing, right? And like if you see the first continue is still appearing here, so I will just take it here so that it doesn't interfere with the second zoom region. So this is the zoom 2 for a period of 6 seconds at least, like that's what I advise. You can have more but not less. But then again, like this will have its own independent text area. So with the zoom area selected, like if I keep it selected, I will not be able to insert a text box. So you have to click somewhere outside and then go ahead and just like first insert and then okay, the text box thing comes. So sometimes it kind of plays naughty. So I will just put some text out here and I will just take it inside the zoom so that when the zoom gets highlighted, it will show up like what the combustion does. I'm just putting in random text right now, but you are supposed to put in right text. Like I said, even a font size of 7 would be great. So 12 would be too much, it would not look good. Then like once you do this, again you can have another button just in case for those fast users who kind of rapidly absorb everything. They don't want to stay for the whole length of the zoom period. So you can obviously make this a little small, everything. So don't want to give that 14 or even 7 for that matter. 6 is good. So well, now that we have inserted the button, this is for the button 2, it's not the button 1. So it's for the second zoom. So basically what you can do is you can simply name this as continue to, and you can kind of drag it so that it merges or completely and perfectly overlaps with the second zoom region. Now likewise, like this text which you see here, like this one, so this is like text for the zoom region 2. So this is text combustion. So I've renamed it and I can again drag this here so as to completely merge with the second zoom region. Okay, now here very importantly, like we have add this continue button, but we haven't attached a trigger so that like when the user clicks on continue, he lands between like the first and the second zoom. So how do we do that? We click on the object. With the object being selected or highlighted, we attach a trigger, and this time the trigger would be like going to a certain portion on the timeline. Now the timeline is this first second, second second, third second. So the first zoom ends at 8th second and the second zoom starts from the 12th second. So we can make it land on the 10th second. So I will give it 10 and we click on OK, and so far so good. And then again, this is like the second continue thing. So what we can do is we can attach a trigger to it. This being highlighted, we can attach a trigger to it, and this will go from 12 to 18. So we can make it land at 20th second. So in case we were to give a third zoom for turbine, we would have made it start at 22nd second. That is after a period of 4 seconds. Anyways, so far so good. So this is also done. Now there's one thing called as the zoom transition speed. You will see the zoom happening fast or slow perhaps. So how is that done? So on any part of the zoom, like on the boundary, just select, right click, and you will see there's something called as zoom transition speed. just make it very slow. So it means that it will zoom in slowly and it will zoom out slowly. So just click there, zoom transition speed, very slow. So I will just click on Control S, that's save. I will just check the project workflow from the timeline at the bottom. So the image will load. After a period of 2 seconds, the first zoom in will come. It will come with the text and also option to continue in case the user has absorbed the text. Clicking continue, the trigger will be there, which will make him jump to the 10th second. And then after a period of 2 seconds, the second zoom in will come, showing the combustion, what it does, and also having an option of continue, and which on being clicked will make the user go to the 20th second of the timeline. And the timeline itself is for like 32 seconds. So we can just, for the purposes of this tutorial, we can just make it 23 seconds. So we'll just have another 3 seconds to wait. I will now press Ctrl S so that the project gets saved, and we will kind of look at how this looks, the slide looks. So we'll preview the slide. So the image should load after 2 seconds. Now the compression is zoomed in, showing what the compression does. I click on continue, landing on the 12th second. After 2 seconds, the combustion comes up, throws description, click on continue, coming to basically 20th second. After 3 seconds, the slide should end. Since we are just previewing the slide, there's no question of other slides. So this is how you can like create zoom in, zoom regions, so as to zoom certain regions and explain more about that region specifically. Great way to build product awareness. If you are making e-modules for product awareness, I think zooming in using zoom regions and then maybe making use of hotspot to test user awareness can be great things. So zoom in for product awareness and then hotspot to test user absorption of the concepts. So that's all for now for zoom regions. I hope that made sense. We will continue in the next one.